Sometimes love isn't enough. As an adoptive mom, people would often say this to me, as if to imply I couldn't love my son enough to change behaviors or heal his trauma, so I should probably just give up. At least that's how I took those four powerful words, which had buried themselves deeply in my mind, leading me to doubt my ability to parent my child. Sometimes love isn't enough. That is the truth. Oftentimes, you need love and powerful, personalized tools to raise a child who's experienced trauma and disrupted attachment, or a child who you're struggling to connect with. I am on a mission to help parents raising kids with a tricky past to show up with unconditional love and practical tools to lovingly manage even the most challenging of times. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Plus, if you like what you hear, I'd love for you to leave a review. Now let's get to the good stuff. Welcome back to Sometimes Love Isn't Enough. I am your host, Angie Grandt. I am a parent coach who is on a mission to change the trajectory for our kids. I am on a mission to break cycles of trauma and to help parents have tools that are not only practical, but really life-changing, because the old way isn't working anymore. If I'm being quite honest, having cookie cutter strategies for our kids, for us parents, that's not the way that things are shifting. So without further ado, I want to talk about something that comes up a lot. So I had gone through a phase where I was interviewing on a ton of podcasts. If you want to check out some places that I have interviewed, go to my link tree below. It's been a while since I've interviewed, because once I started this podcast and I've been out connecting in the community, I haven't had time, quite frankly, but I love interviewing on podcasts. But one question that often would come up as I was interviewing on podcasts, right? Because I go there to talk about my experiences as a parent who really struggled. My experiences as an adoptive parent were so incredibly hard. I went into that parenting relationship with my son feeling like I had the most amazing behavior management and parenting tools in my tool belt, because by the time I adopted my son, I had been a biomom for 10 years and I had worked in the autism field for even a little bit longer than that. I was and still am, a speech and language pathologist. I felt so incredibly prepared to handle anything that happened in my home, and I was not. I was not prepared. I I had the knowledge, but I didn't know how to put it into practice in a way that was sustainable for me. I didn't know how to put it into practice in a way that was meaningful and impactful to my relationship with my son. So that's often what I talk about on podcasts and here too. I do try to share stories. I try to be as discreet as possible, because my lovely son has told me that he has listened to a couple of episodes, and I'm very mindful about just being so respectful of his experience, right? Because I'm not him. I share my experiences because I know that they can be really helpful to other parents. But I'm really mindful about not sharing his, because I don't know what he went through. I know that now today we have such a beautiful relationship, and there's still so much more room for growth. But what I have learned over the past few years has been a game changer in my relationship. And if I'm being honest, a few years ago, 5 years ago, I had no hope for our relationship. I had no hope for his future, quite frankly. And it hurts so much to say that, but I think I find it necessary to say that because I know that some of you listening are in that same space too. So, but today's topic is about that question that I would often be asked as I was interviewed for podcasts is, if you could do one thing different, what would that be? And back when I was doing so many interviews, I was just starting to understand my own human design, but I was really focused on being a mindset coach. I still am. It's still a huge part of what I do to help parents shift their parenting relationship with their kiddos, with their significant other, with their the other parent if they're not still in a relationship with that person. But anyways, The answer that I would often give is if I could do one thing different, I would have hired a mindset coach, hands down. That is the one thing that wasn't in my tool belt. I didn't know it was an option. And I know that it would have made a profound impact on my relationship with my son at that time. I don't know if it would have had a huge impact on his behaviors. Based on what I know about humans and trauma and interactions and relatedness, I'm confident it would have had a huge impact on his behaviors. But I can't guarantee that. I can guarantee, though, it would have shifted the way that I felt about myself, the way that I felt about my son, the way that I felt about being an adoptive parent, because there was a long stretch there where I regretted it, where I was saying, what in the world did I do? Why did I make this decision? I can say that looking back, I have no regrets, not about anything, actually. It's as I've been studying my human design, I know that it is in my design, it's in a really important part of my design to take stories from the past and to see what lessons were there to be learned. None of us are designed to take the stories from our past and to dwell on them or to get stuck in them. All of us are designed to move forward, but it is in my design to take stories from my past and to find the lessons in them and share those with you. And so I never, I no longer have regrets about things that had happened in my past. I can look back, and of course, there's so much that happened throughout my childhood, throughout my adulthood, throughout my parenting relationship, things that were incredibly hard, things that I wouldn't wish on anybody else, quite honestly. But I know that I had those experiences so that I could be here for you and share with you what I've learned so that you can shift things in your relationship. But I know that in my heart, I would still give that same answer. If there was one thing I could do different, it would have been to have a mindset coach. I would now add into that, though, that if I could do one thing different, it would be to have a mindset coach who understands human design. Of course, I know that that's me, right? That I am the mindset coach that understands human design and trauma and attachment. That is, it is what I do. It's what I love. It's what I love helping families do. I'm not saying this because of course, I'd love it if you need help that you'd book with me, but I'd love it if you book with anybody who understands your needs and can help you see your unique energy needs, your child's unique energy needs. I would love it if you would take a step that could actually shift the needle for your family. Because staying stuck, spinning your wheels, feeling overwhelmed, or not taking action at all isn't the solution. It isn't the way to change what is happening in your home. You, of course, can sit back and watch and see how things evolve. That's always your option. But if you want to create change in your relationship, having tools to shift the way that you think and feel about what's happening in your life, and then having really practical tools to dig deep, to understand what you're here to do, to understand what your kids need, to understand how to communicate, to understand how to love in a way that uniquely meets your child's needs. Those tools have been such a game changer for me. And my hope is that all parents have these tools. My hope is that all parents can see, for example, what unique fears that hold them back from taking action. I was talking with a client today and going through fears in her design were incredibly powerful to help her see where she's getting stuck. Because to her and to all of us, it feels like when we're stuck that there's no way out. But when we put a label to it, when we say, oh, you you are designed to have a fear of inadequacy. But that's not the end of the story, right? When you have a fear of inadequacy, that also comes with a gift. It comes with this beautiful gift of, for example, being able to see on the flip side that on the flip side of the fear of inadequacy is the gift to be resourceful and to know that you actually have the wisdom to help others when you move past that fear. And we know we've all been there, right? When we have a fear that we're stuck in this paralysis of taking action, when we have this fear, we feel paralyzed. We can't move forward. We can't do what we need to do. But once we, whatever that catalyst is that causes you to take that step forward, to take that action, once we're on the other side of fear, every time we say, like, what in the world was I afraid of? We get so paralyzed by our fears, and we all have them. We're all designed to have fears. When we move past our fears and we look back and we say, like, oh my goodness, why was I letting that hold me back? I think about, I love going out to present, but before every presentation, I'm terrified. I get stuck in my own head, feeling like they're going to question whether or not I know enough, or I get so afraid that somebody's going to ask me a question and what if I don't know the answer to their question? But guess what? I've presented dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and people ask me questions all the time. And you know what? I always have an answer. Sometimes the answer is, that is a lovely question. Let me find the answer for you because I'm not supposed to know everything. But I go into that situation terrified. My stomach is turning. I often like quickly have, digestive issues, not to be too weird about it, but right, like my body physically feels the fear of inadequacy and it could stop me from taking action. In the past, I've just forced myself to do it. Like, just get up there and do it. On the other side, you know that it will be better, right? So that's what I used to do in the past. Now, with these mindset tools, I actually work on changing my thoughts and feelings about it, which helps a ton. It doesn't actually solve all of it, though. More recently, at my most recent big presentation, I actually used another tool that I have in my tool belt now. I use EFT tapping, and that was a game changer for me. I had tried to use my mindset coaching tools, which got me most of the way there. I was feeling a little nervous, but still not quite ready. And then I did some tapping, and I was shocked how okay I felt when I was there waiting for my time to go up. I felt like maybe something had gone wrong because I felt so relaxed, so ready, so unworried about not knowing the right answer to things. And those presentations, I was on fire talking about what I wanted to share with parents, foster parents who need better tools to show up for their kids. So, so if I could change one thing from my past, it wouldn't be to change any of the experiences I had, good, bad, ugly, all of it. I wouldn't change any of those. But if I could change one thing, it would have been to have a mindset coach on my team who understands human design. Because having these tools to help parents now has been so powerful in helping parents to really show up differently than I knew how to, than they knew how to, and more it helps parents show up in such a different way than I still continue to see in the community around me. Parents who are really struggling to connect, struggling to shift the way that they think and feel in the moment about their kids, that helping parents to understand that it is only our thoughts that get in the way. It is only our expectations of our kids, our thoughts about how they should be, that creates all of our unhappiness. It's not our actual kids. It's not their behaviors. It is not our kids' behaviors that make us unhappy. It is the way that we think and then consequently feel about it that causes our unhappiness. It is not our kids. It's just us. So understanding that, having a mindset coach on your team, understanding your human design and your kids, if I could change one thing, that would be it. So This was a nice, short, and sweet one, but I felt so compelled to share this with you because I I want you to hear that there is hope, and whether you reach out to me or find somebody else who can help you, there is hope to totally change your relationship with yourself, with your kiddo, with your co-parent, whoever it might be. So that's it. I would love to connect with you. We'll talk soon. I hope that you found this episode so incredibly powerful. Thank you for joining us for Sometimes Love Isn't Enough. If you resonated with what you heard here, please subscribe to this podcast and give us a review. You can also follow us on all the socials. Check the show notes for all the details about how to start tackling behaviors and creating a powerful, loving relationship with your child, a child who needs your love the most. And if your gut's telling you that it's time for a change now, book a free consult. I'd love to help you love unconditionally and show you that you have that power within you.